Okay, I think I'll talk briefly about this. Michael Cohen's records being taken out of his office and all that. The media properly will immediately be focused on the extent to which this verifies the dossier. That's all well and good. It is probably the most important aspect of the story. But there's a few little things, two little things that stick out in my mind. One is the fact that these phone calls with his clients, Trump, were recorded. Keep that in mind. Two is there's this other little event. It turns out that he was a fixer for Elliot Broidy, who is a lobbyist for a Russian bank and probably dirty as hell. But anyway, Broidy had an affair with a playmate named Shira Bashard, and that's been exposed. He made a $1.6 million payoff because she got pregnant. But the interesting thing is that the two fixers for that $1.6 million are Michael Cohen and Keith Davidson, I think is his name. I think he's a Los Angeles attorney. This guy was Stormy Daniels' original attorney. This is okay. So what I'm suspecting, here's probably what part of Trump's day. He's chasing skirts all day long and gossiping, and he calls up his friends. Typical narcissist. He can't be alone with himself, so he's calling friends all day long. And typical narcissist, boasting about all the pussy he's getting, and also gossiping about what other fat old rich men put the pussy they're getting. All right, that's what the dude is up to all day long. And so one of his favorite gossip partners is Michael Cohen. Little does he know that Michael Cohen is recording those conversations. So one day he calls him up and he's gossiping about this hot piece that Broidy's getting, and Cohen on his end. This is assumption, but you know what happened here. So he's boasting about it, and Cohen is, oh wow, that's interesting, and egging him on for more and more details and recording it the whole time, right? Recording it the whole time. So phone call ends, let's say 15 minutes of details about this ugly old fat guy Broidy getting this hot piece out of the Playboy mansion. And so the first phone call he makes is to his buddy Keith Davidson out in Los Angeles and plays it back to him. So Davidson then goes to Bashard and says, tracks down the woman. Lord knows how many women he's tracked down. Lord knows how many times this has been his source of information for a shakedown scheme, right? So he finds the girl, and hi, I can get you some money for this. So so then Cohen jumps in to represent Broidy's interests, cut a deal for him. So he and Davidson get together without Broidy or Bashard knowing that the two know each other, right? And so they work out this deal where Broidy gets shaken down for $1.6 million. Lord knows what the contingency fee on that is. I'm willing to bet it's at least 30 and probably as much as 50%. So let's say he's pocketing, $450,000 to $800,000, something like that. Splits it with Cohen. That's what's been going on here. And they've probably done it dozens of times, right? And it all starts off with Trump gossiping to hit his lawyer, right, his fixer, right? So this is real funny stuff, and how this it also is possible that Stormy Daniels finds out through her grapevine that Shira Bashard got 1.6 million and she only got 130,000. So she figures out the shakedown scheme and says, I'm going to get myself a real lawyer. Okay, so she goes out and gets Michael Avenatti, and who says, well, you know where we're at on that is Trump never signed the thing, so it's not binding because Cohen is an idiot, right? You can see where this whole thing is headed. And the last thing I want to say is even though what's happening now with Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal and Sharon Bashard and all this kind of stuff that's coming up is necessary. We need to find out all this dirt about what scumbags and who they are that are running our country. But I have no sympathy for the women. When Karen McDougal got up there on 60 Minutes and she, or whatever show it was, maybe it was Anderson Cooper during the middle of the week, and she gets up there and says how he offered her money for sex the first time they had it. And she went home and she cried. Oh, she cried, you know. And I'm sitting there thinking, I was about to just throw up. She wasn't playing for a $10,000 roll in the hay. She was playing for a $400,000 a month spending allowance. I've got no patience. I even though what they're doing right now, exposing all this stuff is the right thing. I don't want to get into shaming Shira Bashard and all these other ones for spreading their legs for these ugly old men who sit there but they actually convince themselves. I want to ask women this. Do you think they convince themselves that, you know, that they're sharing spiritual values, that she's really into the spirit and the quality of the man that they're with, or is it really the wallet? You know, is it really the wallet? So call me a skeptic, but like I said, the most important thing is to pursue this story to the end, because the rot is deep. The rot is deep. This is so similar. One of the things that goes through my mind about Putin's Russia is basically that the women have been whored out. It's entirely transactional. You know, woman selling her body for whatever it's worth on the market. You know, I mean, and political influence over that, and basically running a nationwide prostitution scheme. Actually touting in a public forum that the prostitutes in Russia are the best. And so what's really disgusting with us right now is we have copied that system. These women who spread their legs for these disgusting old men just because they got cash. I just no respect for that, none.